Gentlemen,
Serge?
good evening.
Hello?
Welcome. Hello. Hello to the podcast listeners. Hello to the YouTube viewers, which is increasing ever so slightly week by week.
Nice.
We are going to become something on the tubes, and I'm excited. Thank you for those that are joining us. Episode 59 of the Six Sports Podcast. Sergio back here in the host seat along with Anthony, along with Igor, bringing you exhilarating information from the world of Toronto sports. I got nothing for you. Yeah. Gotta love this time of the year, eh? Gotta love this time of the year. Ant, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Oh, yeah. What did I tell you earlier?
No, just the way you started this podcast, I'm content. Me and Igor should just watch you and watch you drown.
Drown.
Just drown.
I can talk.
He's got nothing today, folks. He's got nothing.
I can talk. What did I text you before? When I said, "Hey, we're recording later on tonight," and you came back and you said, "Awesome." And I said, "Hey, Ant, you got a piece of paper towel?" And you said, "Yep."
Yep.
And I said, "Use it to wipe up some of that excitement."
Hey, I'm jacked. What can I say? I'm jacked. The Jays are in a weather delay in Chicago. Mitch Marner's having coffee with the coach.
Oh, coffee with the coach.
Can we have a discussion? I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. Why can't we talk about TFC and the Argos and the PWHL? Is it just because we don't follow it?
No. I'm happy to talk about it.
Let's give this a 3-minute conversation.
Done. The Argos don't have a quarterback.
Sure they do.
So what are we talking about?
Sure they do.
Who?
Well, they have guys who are currently slotted to play the position. None of them are any good.
Okay.
We can talk about that.
Let me rephrase.
Hey, the Leafs don't have a defense, and we talk about that 80 times a night. And we talk about that 80 times a year.
Can you remind me again, why is Chad Kelly suspended?
Okay, well, to
inappropriate
take
behavior.
Inappropriate work behavior. Yeah, there's sexual harassment investigations going on, which is
Yeah.
sucks.
Okay. So
It
see
sucks.
you later.
So he's been suspended for 9 games.
All right, which is
pending
half of the
further
season.
investigation. Yeah.
Half of the season. Okay. Which doesn't mean anything because as long as the Argos go 5-4, 4-5, he comes back. They probably make the playoffs anyways. Okay. PWHL. This is worthy to talk about because it's the final tonight, is it not? Boston, Minnesota?
Yep.
That's it. Winner take all. That's it. Because it's 5-game series in the P, if I understand. Do I have that right?
I don't.
Igor's not going to know the answer to this question. So.
Nope. I don't even know what channel it's on.
That's fine.
Really?
That's fine. Well,
It's on TSN. It's not hard to find.
Yeah, I know, but again.
Is it like TSN 17? Because there's like 4 of them or 5 of them, right?
There's no reason to be a hater like that, eh? There's no reason. It's on TSN.
It's
just
part
like
of
Memorial Cup.
It's part of his shtick.
It's what I do.
It's what he does to ruffle the feathers so that there can be an entertainment value.
Is there a game on today, actually?
Boston and Minnesota. I thought if it's not today, then it's tomorrow, but I thought it was
Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Wednesday at 7.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks like Minnesota up 2-1.
No, it's 2-2. The series is 2-2.
Okay.
Minnesota won game 1, Boston won game 2. I think Minnesota won 3.
Game 3, and game 4 is tomorrow.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's a Tuesday game, a Friday game, a Sunday game, and now a Wednesday game.
No.
So the PWHL.com is lying to me, you're saying.
It might be lying to you.
Okay. Perfect. Or maybe I don't know how to use a calendar.
Perhaps you don't know how to use a calendar, but that's possible. The series is 2-2 between Boston and Minnesota, with game 5 being tomorrow night, as you said, in Boston, winner take all. Period. The end. I was right. As usual. You were wrong. As also usual. So, moving on. Great. I'm going with Boston at home, Ant. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
And it's fitting. Right?
Exactly. Toronto sports fans watching Boston win.
Toronto sports fans watching Boston win. Great. What else did you want to touch upon TFC?
It's going to be a lot of celebrating in Boston if the Celtics also win.
Well, they got a 50-50 chance.
Yes, they do.
That's all you can ask for. Although, arguably, Indiana could have won 3 of those 4 games. It's very odd the way that kind of shook out. But that's fine. Celtics in the final. Just happy that the Bruins are out. Thank God. TFC, you want to talk a little bit TFC?
Sure.
They're doing a hell of a lot better than would have expected this year. John Herman makes that much of a difference, eh?
Yeah.
I think so. A little more structure to their game.
Yeah. Looks like the Italians have been bought into, right? Insignia's playing well.
Insignia's playing okay.
Just okay, right?
Okay. I don't know. I would have. I just maybe it's just my own personal thing. I would have expected a little bit more finish from him. That's fine. That's fine.
Letting in too many goals is what we're doing.
Well, that's okay. It's exciting. You don't want to see 1-0 all the time.
Yeah, but you don't want to let in 10 goals in 4
no
games?
No one's suggesting that they're going to go to, I mean, they could go to the final, but no one's suggesting that they're going to go to the final. It would just be nice to see TFC back in the playoff mix, which is
a more competitive year, right?
Yeah, more competitive year and back in the playoff mix, which is nice. It's nice to see that. What else you want to touch upon? You want to continue on soccer? Euro Cup right around the corner. Huh?
And we can do a Euro Cup podcast when it's, right before, a little preview.
Copa America too, right? You got.
What are you previewing in the Euro Cup? Who does your heart lie with? Stuff. Yeah.
Stuff.
I'm an England fan, actually. All the way.
Oh my God!
Sorry. I love like self-loathing and constant disappointment. Leafs. I'm just really used to that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So.
Well done. Yeah. That's how you select all your sports teams.
Yeah, it's like who's gonna break my heart the most? Oh, England. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. There's not much more to say about that. That's what they do there. That's a heartbreaking nation right there, which it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess
they're the Toronto Maple Leafs of soccer.
Okay.
Story, yeah.
Can a national team be?
Yes.
Can a national team resemble a league team?
Yes.
That's how he draws the. That's how he draws.
Like you can't say Manchester City is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like
because
you can't
they
say
win shit.
Liverpool or something.
They I feel like they've won shit.
Maybe not wrong.
In recent memory,
Yeah. Oh God.
How many generations have lived and died that haven't seen a Leaf win or a Leaf final appearance? Never mind.
Wow. All right.
So why don't we go to Cleveland and cheer for the Browns one day? Watch an NFL game. Wear your Leaf jersey to a Cleveland Browns football game.
Who cares about the Browns?
Well, who cares about the Leafs?
In
the theory that no one, or that these teams have gone so long without winning, that's the tie-in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the Browns forever. I get it.
You guys have answered my question.
Yeah, but the Browns favored. They're never favored to win or compete.
Would you like to do a deep dive into TFC?
We cannot do a deep dive into those teams. We're not prepared, which is why we don't do deep dives or discuss those other teams.
TFC?
We stick it to what we know. We stick with what we know.
But TFC is what you want to do the deep dive in? No. Okay, so
let's stay in the lane.
We'll leave it at that and stay in your lane. Let's talk about. I don't know.
I know what. Let's talk about the Blue Jay. What?
Hey. One second.
Hold on, quickly. I'll say this: if we can get guests who specialize in those other sports, and you are watching this right now, and you want to come on, reach out, and we will have that conversation. That's very different.
That is very different.
But I don't want to patronize, TFC fans, or I don't even want to patronize PWHL fans. and
I would never
think
patronize
that I have spent
PWHL
a
fans.
lot of time watching these games, and therefore I can speak intelligently on that.
I'm more disappointed at the fact that the Toronto team coughed it up to. Excuse me, push the cough button. Damn it, be a professional. I'm more disappointed at the fact that Toronto blew it to Minnesota because it should have been Toronto in the final. But such is life.
I do love though the structure of that playoff, right, where Toronto got to pick the team they wanted to play against. That was
and lost to them.
I don't think. Yeah,
it's great.
That hasn't worked well. You remember we want Florida.
Yeah, well, it
that
doesn't
hasn't
work.
really worked well for us.
That doesn't work well ever. But I mean, they did it in a very diplomatic way. They were going to play Minnesota regardless if it was the regular format, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
they just kind of, we'll just keep it with Minnesota. That's the way that they sold it or said it. I'm sure that the Minnesota coach still made it bulletin board material, and lo and behold, you know what? I changed my mind on that basis. Minnesota beats Boston tomorrow night in Boston and wins the inaugural championship, first season of the PWHL. There we go. I'm going to bet it. I'm going to put money on it. $5. $5 on Minnesota. What does that pay? $5 makes $8 profit. I think they were minus 102 last I checked. Almost even money. 5 pays 5. Igor, yeah. I've dubbed you off air as the producer.
Oh,
you come up with the material because,
well,
I'm tired. What do you got for me?
Let me tee one up for you. All right.
All right. I'm excited.
Well, the new Blue Jays City Connect uniform. How much do you love Fraser?
It looks exactly like the Fraser background, eh? Wow.
Almost even to the font.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs.
I don't think that's I don't get it. I don't get the orange or the red. I don't know what that's for.
Orange?
Okay. Well, is it orange?
That's why I don't think that's it. I really don't.
Well, it looks like some sort of crappy print that somebody made. Like that's, I don't know, man.
So are you suggesting that people in the marketing department of the Toronto Blue Jays couldn't come up with a better logo?
Well, they tweeted out then, like later on in the day yesterday, a small little video with the Rogers Center and the CN Tower, and the CN Tower was flashing purple.
I'm suggesting...
Which doesn't tie into that jersey at all.
I am suggesting that this should have been the logo for the Toronto Blue Jays City Connect. Sponsored by the Six Sports Podcast. This right here. I would have given them rights to this logo. That probably looks really crisp on a jersey. I'd almost go so far that I'm going to get a custom baseball jersey made in this logo just to prove a point that this would look better.
It's better than what they did. That's
with the year 100%. They're having. I would have been happy with a zoom up shot of the Rogers Center Open and a giant Blue Jay flying over, taking a dump right inside. That would be a sweet Connect jersey, you know?
Wow. That's a lot of hatred for a guy that watches 3 seconds of baseball every year. That's pretty extreme.
Well, you know, I learn as much as everybody else listening to you guys.
Wow.
They set a record today as we speak, eh? I don't know the details of this, but they did not score again in the first inning.
Why? Did they play the first inning?
Yeah, and they left a runner at third with one out. Stranded him. And so that set some kind of like
48 straight or something like that?
Whatever it is. Yeah,
it's a Blue Jay record. It's a Blue Jay record, I think. Yeah.
Takes them forever.
Yeah. That's exciting. Okay.
You want to know what else is exciting?
You got anything else for me, producer?
Yeah, you know what else is exciting?
Sure.
You're going to really like this. Pilar, I think you might remember him from past Blue Jays great teams, right?
Okay.
Is actually on fire for all the things that we are lacking right now. So,
Kevin Pilar,
yeah, 37-year-old, I believe.
Superman.
On fire.
He is hitting an MLB best .407 amongst all players
You lose the point, but
407 with at least 50 plate appearances. Also racked up 4 home runs and 18 RBIs through 16 games. Guy's on fire.
Kevin Pillar.
He's on fire.
Who the hell's Kevin Pillar playing for right now?
Angels of Anaheim.
Is that? He didn't start the season with Anaheim?
No, he started with the White Sox.
Atlanta?
He had 1 home run and 4 RBIs with the White Sox.
Hold on. He got released by the White Sox?
Yeah.
And signed on with Anaheim. And now you're telling me that he's batting 407.
Yeah.
Destroying...
After Trout got hurt, he signed, and now he's better than Mike Trout.
Yeah. There you go. How do you like them apples?
Oh, all right. Kevin Pillar. 4 home runs and 18 RBIs in the month of May. He's that really
killing it since
Jesus. What does Kiermaier have this month? Yeah. Don't even pull it up. I don't want to be depressed. Okay. You got any relevant J stuff? No?
Nothing
I do.
Else.
I do.
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, I'm always prepared. So yesterday, after the game, I did a bit of a statistical dive because without knowing for sure, I was convinced that the offense this year was actually performing worse than it was last year. This is what I had in my head. And I said, well, I got to go see if it's fact. So I went in, I pulled up the schedule from last season. And last year, after 53 games, which is what the Jays completed yesterday, the Jays were 27-26, 1 game over 500. They had scored 254 runs in those 53 games. They had allowed 237, a run differential of plus 17, which is great. Anytime you're on the plus side, it's great in baseball. Those 254 runs represent 4.8 runs a game. Okay. And I'm going to quickly draw it now to this season. This season, after 53 games, they're at 24-29. They have scored 210 runs, conceded 244 runs allowed. They are a minus 34 run differential. The 210 runs works out to 3.96 runs a game. So in comparison to last year at this time, they are scoring almost 1 run a game less, almost a full run a game less. It's horrible by comparison, but it gets better. Last year, in 1-run games, at the 53 game mark, the Jays were 5-5. They'd played 10 of them. This year, they are 4-9. 4-9. Not good. Last year, in those first 53 games, they had 10 games in which they had 2 runs or less. 10 of 53, not great. This year, 20 games in which they have scored 2 runs or less. 20 out of 53. Almost a 40% clip. This team is very much feast or famine right now. Last year, same time, in games in which the offense put up 4 runs or more, they were 21-12. A .636 winning percentage. This goes to show, with this pitching staff, I mean, I'll even get to it, even this year, where the bullpen has kind of been an absolute disaster. The starting pitching has been fantastic. So last year they were 21-12, scoring 4 more. This year, scoring 4 or more runs. Want to give it a guess, Ant? Just guess.
They were 21-12 last year?
Yes, sir.
By scoring 4 or more runs.
4 or more.
This year?
Yes. The only hint I'll give you is there's less games, obviously, in which they've scored 4 or more, but
go by winning percentage instead of record.
A .760 winning percentage this year.
Whew. Wow.
In
so
games
what you're
of
saying
scoring
is
4 or more.
We need a little
so
Kevin Pillar.
They are 19-6. One of those 6 losses obviously was this past weekend where they made a comeback, scored 11, and still lost 14-11.
Oh, my God.
Because Yimi Garcia and Romano, who both hadn't pitched in like 4 days, came into the game and couldn't keep it tight. But it happens. Back end of your bullpen's going to give some up sometimes. Listen, this is a really long way of saying, A, it's now factually proven their offense is worse. Same damn offense for the most part, but it is worse than what it was last year, scoring almost 1 run a game less on average. Very bad. Now, I will spin the positive. Obviously, as they've gotten into this quote-unquote weaker portion of the schedule, they've started putting up more runs, which is, in theory, what you need to do. Anyway, the key here is, damn it, get to at least 4. Can you scrape 4 runs a game? Because if you keep up that kind of winning percentage or anything close to it, it's the only hope for what, I mean, we've kind of ridden off the year already, but if we want to be semi-positive and not completely write it off yet, they're going to have to win a lot of games in the 99 remaining games in the season. No. 109 remaining games. Quick math, eh? 109 remaining games. 24 wins. I'd say 90 gets you to the playoffs. Yeah. 66. 66 out of 109.
Yeah.
And with
60
that
would be the minimum, right? 84 wins.
Oh, I don't think
But,
that gets it.
The only people who say that is because Arizona got in last year with 84. And I don't know what the last place wildcard team got in last year. I think it was 89. Like the Jays last year, they won how many games? Was it not 89?
89, yeah.
And they were what, 6th?
Yeah, there was one team after. No, I'm wrong.
Because they faced a division winner.
They were the last.
They were?
Jays were, yeah, of course, because they played Minnesota, yeah.
Right, the division winner. Yeah, so 89.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. You know what I keep reading? Anyways, I bring all of this stuff up. I'm trying to find silver lining in the Jays, and I just can't find it because now I think I've read my 3rd or my 4th article that's talking about, do the Jays need to move on from Vladdy and Bo? And I sat here in this chair on this podcast 2 weeks ago. I said, why the hell are we even talking about that? And I'm of the same mentality. But I also know that when you start reading report after report after report on the same subject, that it's usually a case of where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Not always, but predominantly. And if there's smoke here, if there's legit conversations happening behind the scenes about trying to reset or rebuild this, which, I mean, in and of itself leads me to so many questions. One, what the hell is Edward Rogers doing? What's Eddie doing when he wakes up in the morning? When he sits down and he grabs his coffee cup and he takes a sip and he reads the morning paper, if he still gets one. What the fuck is he thinking in his head? You're the guy. You're sole owner of this team right now. You're
got a lot more going on than a baseball team.
He's got a lot more going on in the baseball team, a baseball team in which he's sunk in excess of $300 million in renovations so far that have been over budget. A $240 million payroll, top 10 in the league. You don't think, after that kind of investment, that it's not even crossing his mind what the hell is going on with my team? And assuming that it has crossed his mind, because I assume that it has.
What do you want him to do? You want him to have a press conference tomorrow and announce a firing?
Someone needs to. Somebody needs to. If we are going to truly go down the road where this team is considering that they are going to move They're two 25-year-old cornerstone pieces currently. Instead of figuring out how to extend them and then figure out with a new general manager how to actually build around them again, if we're truly going to go down the road, how the hell do you go down that road with Ross Atkins sitting in the chair?
But I think you're being led. I think you're being led. Like, this is all speculation.
Of course, but right? Again, so, I'm saying,
like, do you think that Bo has told the team, "I'm telling you right now, I'm not signing an extension. Don't take it personal. I'm not saying I'm not going to re-sign a contract, but I am going to walk into free agency and I'm going to explore all avenues."
I don't think that's happened.
If that's the case, if that has happened, then you'll explore a trade. If the trade doesn't happen this summer, before the trade deadline, I think it will happen. Like, if I have to predict, my prediction is one of them will be dealt in the offseason as this team pivots from this group of players. One of them will be gone, and the other one will be extended.
Okay.
I really believe that.
Do you trust the current manager to make that decision then?
Hey, okay, but so here's the thing. No, I don't, because more out of stubbornness because of the way they've doubled down on this team.
Yeah, but that's a black. But that's a
the
black.
moves have not worked out. So okay,
yeah.
But generally firings happen in the off season.
Okay.
Right. So will they, in an effort to appease fans, because that's what everyone is talking about. Everyone is calling for that, and to all these quote unquote fans and all these quote unquote experts. I can say something. I'll say something in Ross Atkins' defense, if you don't mind.
Oh,
Gurriel Jr. this year so far sucks.
Yeah.
Montero sucks. Soler sucks. Chapman sucks.
Well, they would never bring him back, Chapman.
Right? All these guys that they wanted Jay's management to go out and get, they're not really having great years either. And we would have saluted, oh, yeah, we got Jorge Soler. All of Mr. 191. You know who's actually not having a bad year? IKF. Now, I know it's not like you're putting a recipe together that's winning games. I get it. I get it. But I'm just saying. Everybody that is saying, what, they're calling for this, they're calling for that. Let it play out a little bit more. Because frankly, it's May 28th. Let it play out a little bit more. And not just do things because, you've got fans calling for it. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to that group.
Okay. All right. I think you have some people in the media calling for it too, by the way. Just factual. People are questioning, and rightfully so, questioning on the daily the moves that are being made by this team. And it's
what
thing.
Moves now? Like what? No, like now you're just watching it. Now it all balloons because the team that couldn't hit starts to hit, and now the bullpen sucks.
Yeah, but the bullpen sucked all year too. But the bullpen has sucked.
But the bullpen didn't suck last year, and so they came back with the same guys, and they made a mistake because bullpens are ups and downs. So now guys are having off years. This is going to be a season where I think I texted this to you a couple days ago, right? Somebody will take a turn making sure that we don't win 10 out of 12 or 12 out of 15 or go on some really long extended run of 6. Oh, like 12 out of 15 obviously would be that extended run because someone else will fuck it up. Like right now we're saying, hey, as long as you can score 4, the pitching staff is going to – our starting pitchers are so great, that should be enough to win the game.
For the most part.
And yet guess what happens? The starting staff is bound to be slumping. Barrios right now is not the same guy. Kikuchi got rocked a couple nights ago, right? And it would be nice if every once in a while the offense picked up a starter, and they did. And then the bullpen found a way to fucking blow the game.
Well, but that's part of the game. That's part of the game.
So, but this is why I'm saying I really do believe
yourself into that hole, though. You've backed yourself into that hole because you didn't make any legitimate improvements to this team. You brought it all back, and you banked on internal improvements. Literally, you look into a camera
and for that, your job should be on the line.
Absolutely.
Right? But I'm saying they're not having talks about Bichette and Guerrero because Guerrero and Bichette said to them, we're not signing an extension. we're talking about this is maybe the natural course of what do we do? Do I agree with not extending those guys? No, I would like to see, solid, 6, 7 year contract extensions. I'm not giving anybody a 12-year, $400 million deal. Like all those deals, you have a press conference. As soon as the lights go off, you always end up saying to the guy beside you, what the fuck did we just do? Right?
But they haven't earned those contracts anyways.
Well, have they had conversations? Like, that's what I want to know. Has anyone turned down an extension?
No.
If until I hear, they've turned down extensions.
Yeah, but
now they're being traded. So,
but that's the oddity in all this. For me, stuff always leaks. Does not matter what the sport is. Does not matter who the general manager is. Doesn't matter who's involved. At some point, if there is enough talks happening about something, it leaks. You have never heard a leak about contract extension talks between the Jays and either of these guys. What does that tell you? That the Toronto Blue Jays in this front office are either Fort Knox, and they've taken the agents, and they've taped their mouth, and that's it. And nothing ever gets out, which is impossible. It's impossible for that to happen. So that just tells me that there has never been any extensive extension talks between this front office and either of these players.
They
have leaked.
It appears that they signed the contract with Bo that takes them up to free agency, and that took all of 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Did it not have 50. That feeling? Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's do a 3-year, $33 million. Right?
Let's just get it done.
They're negotiating pretty hard when it comes to arbitration figures with Vladdy, right? Like they're $1 million apart. They're a couple million. Like It's kind of stupid.
Very.
So, but what we don't know is their plan. If the plan is, listen, with 1 year left on their contract, we are going to have a discussion. If the evidence suggests that this team isn't winning, we're going to look to move hell and high water to move everybody out. So I would suspect that.
But why? Why are these the two guys? There's your 20.
It's not even that. It's
you
guys. You have so many other free agents. Can you realistically build a team? You have how come right now? Technical. Okay, how come we're talking about Bichette and Vlad? Why aren't we talking about Danny Jansen? Why aren't we talking about Yusei Kikuchi? How come we're not talking about Jordan Romano?
Okay.
How come we're not talking about Jimmy Garcia? Because these are guys, if the season falls off the rails, they're going to go first. So I just think things have, I do think having the conversation about Vlad and Bo is premature right now. So all these guys that are writing these articles, I think they're just trying to gaslight the situation even more.
Number one gaslighter in this city, Ross Atkins. Okay.
The Athletic actually released some, preliminary, I guess, numbers, projections for their contract extensions. Yeah. So Guerrero's projected to have an extension of 185 over 7, and Bichette's projected to reach 237 over 9.
So 185 over 7 isn't even $30 million a year.
Yeah, it's 25 and change.
Wow.
185. Yeah, 26.42 mil.
I would take that. Listen.
I would sign both those deals.
Yes.
I would try and get the 9-year one down a little bit, but you know what? Probably I'm okay with that given that
they're both 26.3, basically matching deals, just more years for Bichette. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather not take them to years 35 and 36.
Well, I think that would take Bo to so the extension would come at the end of it, 9 years. That would take him to 36. It would take him to 36. Yeah.
But I listen. You've got so many free agents this year. It creates the conundrum of what are we going to do?
Yeah, but for me that's not that. But for me that's not as much of a conundrum as it is an opportunity to reset. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I talk about these two guys being the cornerstone, we understand that baseball takes so much more than just two. You've got some pitchers that are signed long-term, a couple of prospects that might poke their head maybe this year. You would like to think should poke their head at least starting next year. If that's a Barger, if that's a Relvis Martinez, if that's Ricky Tiedemann pitching, depending where he goes with health. This is all relative, right? But once you clear a little bit of this money, and they may look to bring some of these free agents back, but it's an opportunity to reset. And why I feel it's so important that you keep these two guys is because they are really good players. And if you put the right pieces back around them, you're going to reopen a window for this team because they're still young. You're not doing these extensions and they're 30 years old. I got to keep beating the same drum. They're 25. So yes, you frickin' sign them. You do what you need to do to sign them. And if 3-4 years from now it's not working, you can trade them, right?
Do you trust Atkins to sign them?
I don't think
because you already want them signed. So if you wanted them signed already, that means you were hoping that the guy who built this mediocre team,
signing them is the easy part, Ant. That's the easy solution.
Not if they're going, look, how do you know that Bo's not saying, geez, every day we lose, the price goes up.
Well, you know what? But then again, thank you.
Right?
Thank you to the guy upstairs right now. So I think, but this is why I feel the entire messaging, everything that's going on here is also a message to this team and this locker room from the president of this team to say, this is not good enough, both in how we're performing, but how this was put together. The responsibility ultimately has to fall at the feet of the general manager. It can't go anywhere else, Sam. It has to fall at his feet because he doubled down on this. You have to pay the price for doubling down on what didn't work last year, and it's not working again this year. That's the price. And that's the first message that has to get sent. And that message isn't necessarily being sent to all 26. It's being sent to a certain core of guys that are there, guys that have signed to be here long term, guys like Barrios, okay, guys like Gosman, and future of this team, and guys like Bichette and Guerrero. And it's got to be a message to say, listen, the guy above didn't do enough to help you, our core. Now we're going to make a change, and we're going to bring in someone else who we're going to entrust and give the keys to get this back on track. And I think that can be viewed as positive messaging. At the end of the day, there's a lot that we can complain about this year. People take a shit every day on John Schneider. You've come to his defense a couple times. Now, at the end of the day, do I think that John Schneider is going to be the guy that should lead this team to glory? The answer is no. And it's got nothing necessarily to do with this year. I'm going over the entire course of his tenure, all right? Decisions that he's made, going all the way back to that dreadful second playoff game against Seattle, where I feel
right.
Look, but so hold on. But you've come to his defense, and this year I can't put it on Schneid's. I can't because he can only work with what he has. And as Igor mentioned last week,
he scored 9 runs, 0 runs, yes. 9 runs, 0 runs.
You can only work with what you have.
He's an idiot, and he's a genius. He's an idiot. He's a genius.
Well, he doesn't
work like that.
He tries to make a call to the bullpen. 3/4 of the bullpen can't frickin' pitch on most nights. The remaining parts of the bullpen are going to have bad games here and there. That happens. As Igor said, the guy who watches the least amount of baseball, it's clearly a personnel issue. If they're always getting into hitters' counts, right, and they're getting the pitches that they need, one, they're not executing, right, or you're getting into good pitchers' counts and the pitchers are not, closing off that at-bat with a strikeout or a flyout or something like that, then it's a personnel issue. And what they're stuck with right now is a personnel issue. And it's not a 1 or a 2-person thing. It's like 7 or 8 players, right? It's hard to fix. So this season, to this point, is not on the coach. Go ahead.
Right. And I don't want to, yes, I came to the defense of the general manager. I'm the only one in this city who would.
No, you came to the defense of the coach, not the general manager.
But
ignore that. No, we're trying to erase that. We're trying to erase that shit. Go ahead.
But again, my point is, I'm somewhat dismissive of these reports that are coming out, these articles that are being written about, is it time, have we reached the end of the Bo and Vladdy area? Well, Vladdy's hitting 300. Right? So, why should we even have this conversation? Is it realistic that you're going to keep both or trade both or keep one and trade the other? Those are all realistic options. I'm just saying on May 28th, that's not the conversation that's necessary. You should be trying to work really hard to continue to improve this team, to entice those two to even want to come back even further.
I agree.
Right? When I look at that team, I see all the same guys. It's all a blur for me. Right? They kind of remind me of like those JP Ricciardi days when they were just like, we just need a couple of dirt bags and things like that. And they had these Reed Johnson kind of players. You know what I'm saying? So you have the Ernie Clements and the Kevin Biggios and the IKFs. Just too many of the same guys. I know it's not possible, but just go find a guy who burns up the base paths. Go find I don't think they're athletic enough. I don't think they run enough. I don't think they do things. I don't think they have enough 5-tool guys. Go out and get another guy. Go out and get that guy. Now, is it impossible to do because, nobody else is? I don't know. But again, the questions for this team are your farm system and the doubling down. Because if you are going to have a $235 million payroll, it's not like they've traded away all their prospects, right?
No, they haven't.
I just want to see them find a way to change the makeup of this team in terms of how this team plays. I would like to see, and I know I've texted you this, and I hate getting into trade speculation, but like a Jazz Chisholm kind of guy. Hard to get. I don't know. Take a flyer on another guy. Victor Robles was designated for assignment. Injury prone the last few years. Take a shot. I don't know.
Hey, Igor's telling us that Kevin Pillar.
Kevin Pillar's batting .329 for the love of all that.
402 in the month of May or whatever the hell it was.
Right? 329 on the season with a 380 on base.
Oh, unbelievable.
Right?
There's guys down in the minors that they can call up at. There really is. And I know that there's an argument about the level of defense that those players can bring you right now. My God. Like at this point,
they haven't lost one game because of their inability to play defense. I can't believe they can't go without one guy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, give me an option here. And if it's calling up Elvis, I get it. So it's going to be subpar defense at second base. That's fine. Tell your pitchers to pitch to a certain part of the strike zone.
They might not even have to be second base though, Serge, because their big free agent acquisition. Here's the thing. Let's not forget, if we thought Bo Bichette was gone and they didn't have an interest in signing him, they wouldn't have signed Justin Turner to a contract 2 days after Bo Bichette went on the radio and said, there's a lot of guys out there that we could use Justin Turner for one. Well, I don't know what the linkage is there. Well, but there's a lot more meat on that bone. That relationship between Bo going on a radio station in the city, calling for a player, that player being signed, has to tell you more than, and here we go, has to tell you more than a hockey player having a coffee with his coach in a fucking coffee shop in Etobicoke.
We'll get there, though. We'll get there.
It has to, right? If you didn't have an interest in Bo Bichette being a long-term Blue Jay, I'm not saying that, listen, Bo just said we should go out and get this guy, so I guess we should. But listen, that guy has done nothing.
It's true.
In the last 5 weeks. And now he's a part-time player. Is he in the lineup tonight? I don't know. And he's been given nights off in favor of Vogelbach. So there's a move to be made. You can just figure out a way to get another bat in this lineup without even changing any of your defense by simply adding another guy who will just play DH.
But you know what? But that's also now going to what you said, right? Using that specific example. This is where people still question. That this is why the manager comes into question. You spent whatever it was. What did they spend on Turner? 19, 18 million, whatever the number was, to bring him in to be your DH.
Mm-hmm.
See, he's struggling. That's fine. But your answer to get him out of the lineup is to put another subpar struggling player in at DH. This is the whole, you've got guys in the minors that are hitting. Are you telling me that Vogelbach has to continue taking at-bats over any of the guys? Like, name me a name, Ant. Bring up Horowitz. He can't be up here?
Yeah.
The Jays have to roster Daniel Vogelbach? Like, that's it. It's set in stone. It has to be there, right?
For limited at-bats, I think it's better to have Vogelbach. But now if Turner is struggling and you're going to go full-time Volk. Okay, Turner is in the lineup today, and I get it, and he's a veteran. I'm not knocking him, but
Absolutely.
the fact that he's been slumping and taken out of the lineup, I salute the manager for that, because the manager's running out of time.
Well,
He might be. The manager knows. At worst case, like, I'm a sacrificial lamb here.
he's trying to do whatever he can. So by
But
giving him different
they
options.
can't even do that. Atkins can't even have a press conference that says we have relieved the manager of his duties. We want to thank him for all the services. We just don't think we're getting what we wanted. Blah, 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 blah. People will say, how much longer until you're gone?
Absolutely.
They will not tolerate just a manager. It's going to be bloodshed, a wipe all the way across. I think people want Edward to have a conference, to have a press conference, and have Shapiro gone as well. Thanks for the renos. We're gone. You're all out.
By the way,
wiping of the slate.
By the way,
we'll tie this back to the hockey team. If Pelly had been here a year early, that could have been what had happened in Toronto for the hockey club.
You think he would have wiped it last year?
No, I'm not saying last
year.
He
would have wiped it this year
because he had a year.
Because he had a year. I like that.
You can fire the president at any time.
By the way, a very good Jewish friend of mine has told me that Mark Shapiro is the only Shapiro in the world that calls himself Shapiro. Okay? I just needed to put that in there because I was told to say that. Anyway, you're not wrong on anything you said. And maybe the slate has to be wiped clean from the very top. Unfortunately, I still think that there's some renovations that need to happen. And there's the business of the Toronto Blue Jays that is actually still very profitable right now. And a lot of that gets hung on the hat of Mark. And that's why I don't think that Rogers has an interest in getting rid of the president. But damn right, you can wake up in the morning, take a sip of your coffee, read that newspaper, and say, okay, enough is enough. Clean up that front office. That's it. Because I've invested.
And it doesn't mean a 10-year rebuild. No one will do a 10-year rebuild anymore. Those days are done.
That doesn't need to be.
Exactly. No one.
But it doesn't need to be a rebuild at all. It does not need to be a rebuild at all.
It's a retool. Okay? The mistakes that have been made over the past couple of years has been just, frankly, you guys let Marcus Semien walk.
Texas put a real damper on that, but they really did.
So they blew their load on that. Huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But again, it's sometimes you got to be willing to go to the uncomfortable spots to keep the right players in place. Like sometimes that has to happen. And I look at that, and Simeon's a great example, right? Where they just didn't want to go as far as the competition went to sign that player in dollars, in term, and all of that. And I get it. So go and invest your money somewhere else, because right now, second base is a revolving door of you've listed them off
players.
Of utility players.
They're just utility players. I love Biggio. I was excited for Biggio a few years ago, but that's the whole. You get excited about any young player.
I get it,
right? And then you realize a few years that the ceiling isn't that high, and this is who they are.
That's right.
And now it becomes about W's, So
but then there's two things to do with young players. And I mean, now it's too late for Biggio because he's no longer that, but there's two things to do. Sell the hype, okay? Or put them in your lineup and see if they're worth it. Biggio is one of those examples where they didn't sell the hype. They just kept him in the lineup, and it is what it is now. Now you kind of know what you have. It's like you said, it's a utility player. You got other guys in the minors, right? So stop giving me what I feel are excuses sitting there while, Biggio can't be sent down, Ernie Clement can't be sent down. So if we get rid of them, we're designating for assignment.
That's fine.
They may get picked up by another team. Okay, who cares? And I'm not saying that that's the conversation that's happening, but God, man, if it's anything close to that, walk away. You're not winning a World Series with those players. They're not that vital to your lineup. Yep. So if you have someone in the minors who can step up here and you can give them more than 18 at-bats, which they gave Barger, like that's nothing at the end of the day. And you can give them a little bit more runway and a little bit more confidence to say, hey, you got runway here. Get out there. Just go and play. You might find something. You might find that Orelvis Martinez can fucking hit home runs in the MLB too.
Hey, this is why I threw it out there, because I read an article on Victor Robles today, who was DFA'd by Washington. right? Like it's been mostly injuries the last few years why he's struggling. He's had a horrible year this year, but again, it's been injury related. So why not you pick him up? You let him play 20 games in Syracuse. Syracuse. You let him play 20 games with the Bisons, and that's it.
Call him up.
Look, anyways.
Now we are going to move on because the excitement here is going to be 31 days from now when the season's definitely over, and they're going to salvage it by calling up Joey Votto, and we're all going to be excited. And that's going to save.
Yeah, they're going to call him up on Canada Day. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Igor, you take a beautiful picture, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? You want to hear something really beautiful? Here's a hot take. We're running it back. That whole meeting was about rehab.
Oh, my God.
You'll see.
Oh,
He's going to figure out a way.
You don't honestly believe that, do you?
Hold on. Not only is he going to figure out a way, but this time, okay, not this time. Well, maybe this time next year, you're going to be shouting for a full 8-year extension because we're going to make the Eastern Conference Final, and everyone's going to forget about it.
Oh, my God.
And that's it. And there's your hot take. We're running it back.
He's right.
Let me preface this.
Hold on quickly. Let me just say, because Igor gets dumped on a
lot
by
what
you.
The hell he's talking
Frankly,
about.
I'm going to tell this, Serge. You're not always nice to Igor, and it kind of bothers me.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He just gave an amazing hot take.
Terrorist.
It's an incredible hot take, and I'll tell you why. Because if he's not coming back next year, I want to know why the coach is talking to him.
Yeah,
he like you're talking to him. I'm the general manager.
God.
What did you tell him? Like, what did you tell him?
Fucked?
You don't need to meet in a coffee shop. Get on a cell phone in your house.
Are you crazy?
He doesn't need.
Wow.
If I'm the general manager, I don't want my coach meeting the most highlighted Toronto Maple Leaf player right now in a coffee shop.
That
was irresponsible.
Not at all. He's going to meet all of his players. What are you talking about? Every single one of them. That's the coach's job.
Not in a coffee shop.
Why does it matter?
Bring him into the ice rink, have a meeting in an office.
Oh, my God.
In a coffee shop in Etobicoke near
What
Mitch's
a
house.
joke.
Hey,
this is why...
When Babcock flew to Arizona and had to have wine with the Matthews to clear the air, how did that work?
Let me tell you something. This is the shit that continues to get news headlines in this city. This is the stuff that media people need to hang their crap on because there's nothing else to talk about. So you need to look at this as some relevant thing. You've got a new coach with this team. Stop. That new coach has X number of players that are under contract. They're under contract. He's going to have meetings and have a conversation with every single one of them. There is no guarantee that Mitch Marner is getting traded because the Leafs, as much as I want it to happen, aren't going to give him away for free. So there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to consummate a deal because, as I said from the very beginning, this player controls this process. Now, having said that, I don't think that changes the fact that this guy doesn't feel comfortable in this city anymore. I truly believe that. He does not feel comfortable in this city. But it's not going to preclude him from meeting the guy who's the coach of the team right now because there's no guarantee that he's leaving. There's no guarantee.
Just keep it in the office.
But what?
Okay.
What?
So now you want to tell me that this is all about bringing it back, and that bringing it back is going to lead to me sitting here a year from now or less saying extend this guy for 8 years? Oh, he's the same fucking loser that he has been for years. He is not cut from the cloth of championship material.
You said
most of this team is not.
You said the exact same thing about William Nylander. You've wanted him traded for the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
Last year, he has a career banner year, and we're
no,
all
but it wasn't last year.
And we still lost in the first round, Igor. So the point, as much as I'll defend you on whether or not they're going to take it back, I'm not saying that what they're doing is right. Because I tweeted out today, you guys cannot have it. You can't have it both ways. You can't say you're going to lose a Marner trade and then spend the entire regular season complaining about the fact that the cap structure and the lack of depth is the reason why this team doesn't win in the playoffs. Because they are 1-1 the same. You have signed top-heavy players, then you complain about the depth. You can't have both.
Yeah.
You can't have both. You have to sign him to an extension and then do nothing but parade every single game going, even though no other team has this kind of salary cap structure, even though no other team has more than one player making $10 million a year, where we're going to have 4, you have to say after every game, nope, those 4 guys are bringing us a cup. That's it. That's all you could say then after. You can't say anything else.
It is, and I've said this, and I'm going to echo it again, because we are here even having this conversation right now because of the mismanagement that happened earlier this freaking season when they had the opportunity in late December, early January to fucking walk away from Keith and bring this same coach that they have announced today in at that time. And he could have had his run with these players. And we might be having a different conversation right now because maybe the coach is the answer. I don't know. And maybe the Leafs make a trip to the Eastern Conference Final this year. And we all feel completely different about the path of this team. But they didn't do that. No, instead, they doubled down on Keith. And we ended up with the same damn result. And now you're going to sell me on we're going to freaking run it back again because the difference is the coach. And if it fails again, you've fucked yourself because then you have to resign Marner. You have no choice. You have no choice then.
He's right.
Because they're just walking away for free.
Atkins and Shanahan. Shapiro and Shanahan. What do? They play blackjack? What do? They double down. They double down. That's all they do. They double down.
That's the mistake.
I know.
Let me just say that it's not what I want to happen. It's just what's going to happen because I can see it written in the stars. Or
Sergio, but he wasn't in a coffee shop saying, "Hey, listen, Mitch, I know you're not easy about this, but
exactly.
Nashville's nice. They know they've got good schools. Like he wasn't playing tour guide for some American city that Mitch doesn't want to potentially.
I don't know. Maybe he's selling them on Missouri.
Sure.
Listen,
don't worry, I got a buddy in St. Louis. He'll set you up. Like
that conversation at the end of the day for me is really, really simple. Okay, I look at myself, me, the characteristics that I have, how I'm able to go forward. I'm a very, very good judge of character of people when I meet them. How do you get to obtain that judgment of a person's character? Try to read into it. You got to talk to them. So yes, The coach is going to meet with his $10.5 million player and have a conversation because he's likely never talked to Mitch before, face-to-face, one-on-one. I don't care where that conversation happened. I don't care that it happened in a coffee shop instead of, but like, who cares at the end of the day? Because maybe he's just trying to have it in a public place to kind of make it
in the corner
to draw it. Yeah, but in the corner, that's fine. It didn't look like there was anyone else in there anyway.
No, but why would you have it in a public place where you know you're going to get your picture taken? It's Toronto. Like, everybody knows what you look like. It's not San Jose or smaller,
But again, like, who cares?
No, because now you know the conversation. Like, I know you don't want to believe this, okay? But you know,
why was it empty? What's the status of the business in that coffee shop?
That's what I'd like to know.
But the conversation was, hey, this is what my game plan is. This is what I expect from people. And I really, obviously I know you're a good player. This is what my plan is for you moving forward.
Yeah.
I guarantee
I'm going to give you one better.
No, hold on. I guarantee you there was not one mention of, dude, you're not even on this team next year.
Why would he mention that?
Well, why? Okay, but then what's the point of having
that will never come out of the coach's mouth?
I get it, but then why would his boss, our general manager, even allow it in the sense of like?
I'm gonna give you 4D chess now. You want 4D chess? I'll give you 4D chess.
Let's go.
Tree Living turns around to Berube and says, "You know what? Go have the meeting. Okay, go have it in public too, because I want pictures taken. Because I want this to be all over the media that everybody now believes that we're running this back." Because I don't want any of the 31 other general managers to think that I'm cornered into a damn wall into this trade. Okay? I want people thinking.
You just.
It can't be 4D chess.
He only calls another team once. He only calls that team once Mitch says it's okay. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah. That team doesn't know that they're one of one. That team wouldn't know that they're one of one.
No, but he only puts Marner out there when Marner says, "I'm prepared to waive my no trade."
That's fine. But that team that he calls does not know that they might be a one of one or a one of two.
But
or
you
one of three.
just finished saying that Marner controls the process. So this
The
is
process of giving a list of teams to this general manager does not mean that fucking information has to get out to those teams. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those teams don't have to know that they're a 1 of 1, a 1 of 2, a 1 of 3.
It's more than likely a conversation that went to the effect of, look, I don't control player movement, and I'm not here to ask you to waive your no trade. Okay. I'm here to coach the players that are here.
Yep.
So
right now you're here.
Right now you're here.
Yeah. Yep. This is my plan for rehabbing you.
Blah 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 blah.
Nothing. And then sit back and listen to Mitch Marner talk and realize that he's a spoiled, selfish little brat, because you can pick that up in 3 seconds of looking at him, just the way that he interacts.
You don't like him doing the gritty?
Oh, give me a break, man. Give me a break. And by the way, he's not alone. He's not alone in that. There's plenty of that in the league. But if you want to win a cup, you got to find the guys that aren't like that. And I know it's really tough to say, okay? Because what you end up with, and we've said it before, you need players that are borderline shitty human beings. They really are. You need Jacob Trouba.
Look at Boston. Linus Ullmark apparently turned down a trade to another playoff team.
Sure.
Boston, fine. They did what they had to do to beat the Leafs, but they were unable to score any real, large amounts of goals. Like, they didn't score a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You don't think their fans are screaming, well, Ullmark, hey, fuck, if that guy had only allowed us to trade him for some offense, then we'd probably still be playing right now. Like, okay, but that's fandom. That's fandom. My point is, when you go into a coffee shop and have these conversations with players who apparently the entire city is saying this core doesn't work, someone has to go.
Yep.
I just don't understand the value of having it in an empty coffee shop in a corner. It just didn't look good to me. I'd have it in the office. You walk into my office, right? Sit down in front of my desk and let's have a conversation.
I guess whatever. I just, again, things get, the portion of this that gets blown out is, oh, that's it. He's 100% coming back. And that's fine. If he is, it is what it is.
Do you think their plan is to keep the core and get rid of any player that makes more than $3.5 million? So they're going to keep the core and come back with $800,000 salaries and 1 or 2 more large acquisitions.
Why? What are the? Well, wait a second.
So Yarncroc gone.
Why?
If you're projected to make $4 million, you're gone.
Are you crazy? We just had rumors drop last week.
About
rumors just dropped last week on Bertuzzi and Domi from Mr. Pierre LeBrun. 6-year extensions at $5 to $6 million.
Yeah, it's fucked up. No way.
That can't be true. Sorry, Pierre, you got it wrong.
Yeah,
I hope so.
How do you go from what was Domi making 3.5?
Yeah.
4?
3.5. Yeah.
So how do do you double your pay almost?
It's
get a raise.
Nothing.
It's the Leaf effect.
Yeah.
It's no. But it's the Leaf effect.
What?
Because Domi went into the playoffs.
It's inflated. Okay? It's adjusted due to the price of housing.
But Domi went into the playoffs.
Where's my cut?
Matthews missed games.
Yeah.
And Domi won 86% of his faceoffs.
Yeah, and
showed that he was capable at center. And that's it. Now you got to give him a raise.
3 games. 3 games netted him
Igor.
Yeah.
Igor. Luke Shen was getting paid $750,000 a year for 5 years straight.
Yeah, I know.
Came to the Leafs for 5 minutes, and it turned into a 3-year contract worth $2.75.
Yeah, because he made it to the second round.
Yeah, because he showed, with eyes on the biggest stage. And I know this pisses people off because they didn't see it in Vancouver because the Canucks are playing 10 o'clock Eastern every night, that he was doing the same damn thing with Quinn Hughes. But he came here and he did it with Morgan Riley on the biggest stage with all the eyes on him, and people got to see it for 12 games. And oh my God, he still got it. 3 times 2, point whatever. Unbelievable. Nashville, they bought him out of Toronto. He was going to re-sign here. Until he said, we can't give you that money. We would have given you $900,000, $1 million, a little bit of a raise. It's the Leaf effect. And it's the same thing here. Now, I hope those rumors are wrong. God, if I see a contract extension for either of those guys, that's $5 to $6 million on a 5-6 year term, I will riot. I will riot. Because then that just tells me everything that I feared from the very beginning, and that's that Tree Living is not the answer either at general manager. Because that is stupid money.
That being said, also,
but you let these players walk away?
Yes, you don't have a choice.
And what's
you want to fucking be a Leaf? You want to be a Leaf? You want to be a Leaf, Max? You want to be a Leaf? This is the terms, okay? It's 2 years. And I'm going to give you a small raise. I'm going to give you $4 million a year. 2 years. You still got it after that. We can talk about extension after that too. 2 year increments. Hey, Tyler, you want to be here? 2 years. Same thing. You were making 5 last year. You don't get a raise. You don't get a raise. You didn't do anything. You'd be fortunate if I give you 2 times 5. You think you can get more on the market? See you later. Next. Sorry.
What's next?
I think somebody pays him. I think someone
Who's the
gives him
alternative to that?
term.
Go find another player, Ant. Go find another player. Because whoever that player is, you're throwing them up there on the first line. Did Bertuzzi show you enough this season that warrants some sort of a massive extension that you're going to sit there and say, this is the guy that's going to be left-winging the Matthews line or left-winging line 2 for the next 5-6 years? No.
His last 30 games or whatever was like
some flashes. But then you got to the playoffs and Stonehands came back. So what are we talking about here? I got to give you $6 million a season for that?
No.
You got to walk away from it. You want to do a short-term deal again? That's fine, because you can live with short-term mistakes. Short-term mistakes are fixable. It's the long-term shit that screws up your cap to no end. They cannot make that mistake. We talked about it a couple episodes back. It's the same on defense. That's going to be a glaring area this offseason where they're going to try to patch some holes. And big mistakes can come here because if it's the wrong guy on the wrong term, you're screwed. And what did we say? Chris Tanev, stay away. Dallas looks like they're on a trip to the Stanley Cup final. If that guy makes it to free agency, do not go give Chris Tanev 3-4 years. Because he'll have played 110 games this year. No, thank you, man. Got to walk away. You can't make mistakes. So what Tree Living is navigating right now is a very, very, very dangerous offseason. Very dangerous offseason. If you run it all back, very dangerous. To really screw things up for the long term here.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
And if you don't run it all back, right, and you try to make other changes, it's you trade Marner, whatever is the utilization of those extra cap dollars. Don't fuck it up. It's a lot of pressure on him. But hey, that's why you get the big bucks.
Domi and Bertuzzi walk away, which I don't disagree. You cannot overpay. I'm just saying you're potentially then garbage bin shopping, right? So what you do is it's the Anthony Duclair, Duclairs of the world, right? 1 year and 1.4 million.
Garbage bin shop, Ant, and that does not have to be a permanent fixture on your team.
No.
Because you have internal options that you can try and you can cycle, and if they don't work, then you can get to the trade deadline, and you haven't gone into next season right at the cap, and you have a little bit of wiggle room, and maybe someone like Brandon Pridham can really earn his money and capitalize that in a trade because of movements throughout the year, and then you get actual real cap flexibility at the deadline to make an addition to this team.
Their biggest failure is high-priced core, and you don't have a farm system to supplement playing time players rosters with cheaper talent. So my point is, if
they've got a lot of cheap guys on the team right now.
If Mitch is coming back, which I feel a little bit more certain that he is. I didn't think he was, but I feel like he is. you need to go bin shopping and you need to hit.
Oh boy.
I just think they should call it a reset. Like, just call it a reset. You know what I mean? And say that this is why we're trading. Like, I'm hearing all these former NHL executives. You know, one guy who went on Twitter today who keeps telling you every day that anyone gives this guy a microphone that he drafted Rick Nash. Talks about, be very careful about trading Mitch Marner because of what you're going to get back. Why does no one in this city understand? You have to make this deal and understand that you are probably going to make this deal and not win it, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Because you are playing for long-term flexibility down the road, which is basically, I'm talking about a 1-year reset. You're going to have to get back talent anyways, because no one has $12 million that they can just put on.
Maybe Anaheim.
Right. Okay.
That'd be a future.
But that inability, like, again, this is why I tweeted out what I tweeted today. Like, to anybody, if you are a hockey broadcaster, and if you are an analyst, if you're an executive, or if you're just a fan, like the three of us are, you cannot be afraid to make that deal and then later on say it's our cap structure and how we've laid out, the funds for this team, which has created lack of depth, and that's why we don't win. You can't have it both ways. No. Take a decision and go. Can't have it both ways.
No, I'm with you. So listen, I mean, we could talk about this ad nauseum. Answers are going to come in short order here on what's happening. Listen, Igor, as negative as I am on the player, that's me at the end of the day. I have made a determination inside of my soul that particular player is one of the changes that needs to happen to this nucleus. And if you bring it back and you run it back, that's fine. Because if you follow half of social media, they think you're crazy to trade a 90 to 100 point winger. You are doubling down on, as Anthony has said, the cap structure of this team. Now, they're going to get relief in Tavares. We all understand that. It's one more year of JT at that money. Either he stays or they move on from him. It's never going to be anywhere close to $11 million this season anyways. So there's going to be some freedoms that naturally come on this cap. But I'm telling you, it's structure of the nucleus and who's in it. And Marner's not alone, because I want to walk away from Morgan Riley too, right? I've said this. Like, these are a couple of guys that I feel that if you really want to shake things up here, you get into 2 years from now and you have a team that doesn't have Tavares, doesn't have Riley, doesn't have Marner. And as long as you make good with what you're sending out and what you're bringing in, you can reopen a legitimate window for this team. And I truly, truly believe that. If you run this all back, it's never. I honestly feel like it's never. It's just not going to happen. They don't have it. And you can't have a team filled with leaders that don't have it. And believe me, we're questioning the two guys that are under long-term contract already here, right?
Yeah, but they're not going anywhere.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not going anywhere. So at some point, someone else has to go.
Yeah, no,
someone else has to go.
I think right? I don't know if we've ever had a goaltender get hot at the right time. Do you know what I mean?
But that too.
Are we just a hot goalie away from winning the cup?
No, because, Igor, there is no team that has put this type of team together. From a salary cap perspective, not one team has 4 players making in excess of $10 million.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to, when they were first
it
making
doesn't matter.
the plan.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No one else did that. No one else bet on that. Nobody else bet on that. Okay. Everybody else bet on it. Didn't, like COVID and the dead cap, the flat cap didn't stop them from making horrible trades for Nick Foligno and Ryan O'Reilly and all these trades. They got rid of so much of their draft stock, which is what they're really paying the price for right now. None of that matters because no other team was doing that route. No other team benefited from a rising cap to be able to pay their stars. You look at the NHL right now. McDavid and Draisaitl get a lot of talk, but who else is making this kind of money? Who else is making the kind of money that the Leafs are talking about with their quote unquote, stars?
McKinnon, Panarin.
Right, but not like not 3 or 4 of them. right? Like, my God,
in Tampa, if you
what did
adjust
Jason
for
what
taxes,
You can't adjust for taxes.
I'm just saying.
Robertson got a hat trick yesterday. What's he make?
He's not on that contract yet.
Right?
Yeah.
Where's our Wyatt Johnson?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, guys,
might be in the OHL this year.
McMahon was injured.
No, McMahon is not Wyatt Johnson. I can promise you that. If Bobby McMahon comes back next year and plays a suitable third line role and ends up with 15 or 20 goals, you say, that's good. It's good return on investment.
Yeah, they got to find those 3 or 4 of them.
If Matthew Nyes starts to take the next step, and he will, because it takes time. A lot of people forget that he was a rookie this past season. It's going to take time. Within the next couple of years, look, the upside for Matthew Nyes is probably about 75 points a year. It's 35 goal player.
That's
upside.
A lot, yeah.
May not see the upside. I'm saying that's the upside. Okay.
That's not next year.
No, to get there, that takes about 350 NHL games for players to really fall into that groove of seeing an upside. Well, do the math.
Right.
350 games,
which is why I'm saying, if you are going to keep a Marner, you're not going to get rid of a Riley, and you are going to look to make a free agent. Like, they're still talking about some big names in free agency, right?
Braden I get that, but there's only a finite amount of cap if you bring everybody back.
They have no cap space. They have no cap space. Okay. They have 0. Like, don't go on Cap Friendly and look at the line that says cap space. Please, if you're listening to this podcast,
they have
watching
more
it,
than
do
0.
not go to that. They have less than that, because you have to look at rostered players. You could have, look, the Leafs have $18 million in cap space, and this guy only wants 7. We can afford that. No, but you've only got a handful of players signed. You have to you have to sign 20 players.
No, I understand what you're saying.
We're gonna win the cup.
Oh God, okay.
When Matthew Nyes plays 350, 400 games, like you said, which coincidentally will be around the second year of McDavid's contract. We're going to be fine. I don't know why you guys are worried about this. I already saw it in the start. We're going to be fine.
Connor McDavid's first season with the Toronto Maple Leafs has Matthew Nyes scoring 53 goals.
Yeah, Matthew Nyes is going to be the next fucking Hyman.
Zach Hyman. Okay. We'll wrap it up there. This was really good banter and chat tonight. I truly appreciate it when you guys come on and fire me up a little bit. It's good. If you're watching on YouTube, listen, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. This helps. We're trying to grow the channel, the Six Sports Podcast. So we need the likes. We need the subscriptions. We need you to comment on the videos. I don't care, negative, positive, it's fine. Throw your comments in there. We want to hear them. If you're listening to us the old-fashioned way now, like who listens to a podcast anymore? Who streams this stuff? Watch it on video. But if you are, that's cool. Spotify, Apple Music, those are the 2 main ones. You can subscribe there as well. And you'll get notifications when we drop new episodes like this one, episode 59. We thank you for listening. Have a good week. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode.
See ya.
Ciao.